All right. We are now approaching item number 5, which would be the Oakland County Economic and Infrastructure Subcommittee Operations Review, or as I like to call it, the main event. This is the most this is the most participation we've had in a meeting in a really long time. I'm going to start inviting the chairman just to bolster excitement now. I'd like to welcome the chairman of the Oakland County Commission, Dave Woodward, who is also the chair of the Oakland County Economic and Infrastructure Subcommittee Review. In light of the board's recent resolution to conduct a study to review the operations of the RCOC and the ensuing and somewhat justified concern of staff, I asked Chairman Woodward to speak to the staff about the anticipated process, the timeline, and the rationale behind the study. The chair was gracious enough to make time in his schedule to do so. Just as a background, we accepted questions anonymously from the staff. They were sent direct to Craig Bryson. Craig is the only person who is aware of who submitted what. We will give the chair 20 to 30 minutes to answer the questions. Craig will ask the pre-submitted questions. And I'd just like to welcome you and say that we're grateful for you making the time to be here today. So thank you.
I appreciate it. You know, it's just not a fun seat to sit in sometimes.
I know.
I mean,
first time I've been in a hot seat.
Yeah, that goes for a lot of us too.
Not a problem. No, and so thank you, board. I appreciate the opportunity here, and for all the men and women who make the Road Commission for Oakland County work. Thank you for the opportunity this morning. I thought maybe I could start and just kind of give a general overview, and then we can just go into questions.
Sure.
I'm happy to have, and then however the questions can be generated, if it sparks additional questions, I'm very comfortable with a conversation around anything, recognizing it's the very beginning of a process. But I'd like to start out like just from a kind of a functionality of what the Board of Commissioners' function is in terms of county governments and the intersection, how it aligns and sets with the Road Commission. The Board of Commissioners, I mean, as you all know, is the governing body for Oakland County, and tasked with a number of constitutional and statutory responsibilities. Fiduciary responsibilities, obviously, to appropriating funds to run county operations, but also as the chief policymaking body for Oakland County. With that, I mean, in mind, and a host of priorities are in partnership with the executive office as well as our other countywide elected officials, always working to align our spending priorities with our policy priorities and all programs and department activities going forward. From a statutory perspective, as I know our board knows, is that the members of this board appointed by the Board of Commissioners, at least one appointment every couple of years. We have, and take our responsibility very strongly, the fiduciary responsibility to look at all aspects that impact Oakland County, particularly as it impacts communities and local residents. And so to that end is, I think that the impetus of, setting up the study committee, and it really stems back from statutory authority given by the legislature, signed by the governor, past governor, that allows the consideration of questions of consolidating operations of road commissions and counties. That is the law, and there are some prescribed requirements that have to happen for even that question to be considered in any way. The way that we approach things, and we have our standing committees, but when there's a specific topic that falls outside of that, we set up subcommittees, ad hoc committees, other whatever methods necessary to do our appropriate due diligence, ask the appropriate questions, gather the information, and if we don't, and if that's not enough, bring in whatever additional support that's necessary to have that information be brought forward. Generally, a report is conducted, is produced, and then a review by, if there are any policy recommendations, that starts at the very beginning and goes through our entire policy-making process. I don't think it's, I want to set that up as like that is like the sequencing of events that's happened. Now, I, for one, and I have, whenever asked, the question, do I think that there are some advantages of a consolidated operation? I have never been quiet about my thoughts that I believe that there potentially can be to members of this road commission, to the members of my board, to the past administration, to the current administration. So I mean, I put that card on the table, like this is, I'm interested, me personally, very interested in exploring that, to see it, to what end that information gathering, particularly to learn from experiences of counties and other jurisdictions that have actually done it, and what has been the result of that, the value-added proposition of that. Has it yielded efficiencies that, at the end of the day, I look at from a public service perspective, improving the lives of the people that we represent and that we're elected that we're elected by, as well as the communities that make up the fabric of any community, county, particularly in Oakland County, or 62 local communities, cities, townships, and villages. So what do I think? Where are there opportunities? Do I think consolidation is the only way to achieve some of these opportunities? No. But what are some of the opportunities that exist out there? Are there efficiencies to be gained to free up resources to be able to dedicate more money to road funding, road repair, road maintenance? Is there opportunities and efficiencies that are gained by aligning with our countywide infrastructure priorities, to align with our economic development strategies, to align with mobility strategies, to align with the placemaking and I would say local economic development strategies that currently exist? And what are the best ways to be able to do that? Also, our environmental and sustainability priorities. So this would be the list of areas. Does consolidation have to be the only way to accomplish those things? I don't believe it is. Do I think that it could lend itself to achieve some of that? I'm very interested in getting the information to see where that, if that is in fact possible. The law requires a fiscal and an economic analysis, fiscal analysis, budgetary analysis of what this would look like, and then to be able to demonstrate to that there is a required cost savings analysis that has to occur, and so I guess at its core, that would result by consolidation. These other things are, I would argue, maybe not aligning with all these other priorities, or not necessarily statutory requirements, but I think in terms of good stewardship and governance, that those questions have to, will also be explored along this way as well. And so to that end, that is why this committee has been formed. This is not a new issue. This has been an issue that has been talked about, particularly by most on the county board, for quite some time. I know that there was a analysis study of this done some years ago, and that is where we are today. So we are beginning that process. What I can say from a complete transparency point of view, if there are, all of these meetings will be public, posted. We will, there is no rush. We will take whatever time necessary to get all the information to make the best informed decisions going forward. I've heard chatter that this is a done deal and this is getting done and we're going to snap our fingers and make it happen. Whatever is spawning that, I've seen online political posts that this is about world domination and total control. Equally wrong. This is about the Board of Commissioners doing our statutory and constitutional responsibility, and we'll complete that. I look forward to doing that in concert with in cooperation with the Road Commission, as well as getting the information from those who've gone down a similar path, and to learn from what they learned along the way, realizing that time has passed in some things. Government has a way of doing the things we've always done in the way that we've always done it. I've always been one that says that there are times to take a step back and see if we were to start all over, would we continue to do it this way? If that's the case, we continue to do it this way. If there is information that comes forward, if there are ideas, if there are efficiencies that can be yielded that result in better service across, the board, from the county perspective, from the road commission, I call it a success. If there are efficiencies and cost savings that can be then yielded to invest more in into road repair, maintenance, et cetera, then it's worth doing. And so that is what myself and my colleagues are expecting through this process. I've been very upfront about my kind of initial position on the subject, and I'm prepared to go through the process and let the information yield the information necessary to make any further decisions going forward. So,
Thank you.
kind of it. From a timeline perspective, there's this little thing that happens in a couple weeks that is taking up my time and a lot of other people's time. So I would expect a preliminary meeting. Holidays and other things, we might make adjustments if it doesn't work. But our meetings will be posted. They will be open to the public. Minutes will be taken. There will be bipartisan participation on this. I will be chairing it, and I will. I guess in front of the timeline. People have asked me, well, how long will this take? It will take as long as it's necessary to get the information that's required to compile what I deem as a very thoughtful, comprehensive report to all of my colleagues on the board and the executive office, and then whatever recommendations that come from that as a result of that process. So there is not an end date per se. I don't want it to drag on, and so I expect diligent work and really beginning that process in November. What I've shared with the chair and what I would ideally like, starting from that first initial meeting, put things on the calendar over the next many months. What is the information that, almost a public acknowledgement of the information that we're trying to gather through all of this, so that we have an idea of what the subject matter, if you will, what will be the topic of conversation on those meetings as we get to a.
Thank you. Craig?
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning.
Appreciate you coming here as well.
No problem.
And I'm Craig Bryson. I think we've met before.
Absolutely.
I think you've received the questions in advance, so I'm just going to read them so everybody around can hear the questions. So the first one is, and they've kind of addressed this a little bit, but what would be the impact of a takeover on RCOC's budget and on oversight of RCOC operations?
So, the question's a little loaded, so I can deconstruct it for a second. When we talk about takeover, the law provides for consolidation of road commissions and counties. So that is the question that is being discussed. What the impact of that would be, I think there is. Let me get the history of it. Understanding the experience and what happened in other counties helps inform how we should structure it, and then what are the choices along the way of what that looks like. I would envision and again, very preliminary, very high level. I have not gone deep or had lengthy conversation with those that lead road operations in Macomb, Ingham, Calhoun, and other counties that have gone down this road to do this. But I would imagine that there would be a department that oversees the similar function, that if a consolidation occurred, a department would be formed with all the experts and the talents that very similar here in the road commission. There would be, I would imagine, some efficiencies and an economy of scale when it comes to legal, HR policies, HR services, and a host of other things, and actively looking for where the cost savings opportunities in such an arrangement. In terms of its functions, and the function of the road commission is also prescribed in law. And it's like those requirements and those objectives would be maintained. The governance structure arguably would be different. I would, again, I'm jumping ahead, but I think it's important to let the information inform them, making certain that there is from a county perspective, if we were doing this, and just given the size and amount of resources on an annual basis, I would very much envision a standing committee that meets on a bi-monthly basis, if not more frequently, as necessary to do things as we conduct our business. I mean, similarly in line with how we conduct our business for our billion-dollar operation.
Second question, what operational issues within the road commission have you or the Oakland County Board of Commissioners identified that support the takeover of the road commission?
Here's this takeover again. Okay. Again, like I stated at the beginning, that I think that there are opportunities to align with our county economic development strategy, with mobility strategy, infrastructure strategy, which I didn't spell out specifically, but I mean to build out the EV infrastructure necessary to support mobility in this area, our environmental sustainability priorities, and I think that there's not enough collaboration in those areas. So I would argue that those are some of the biggest opportunities. To the extent, and this is why this committee I think is necessary, to the extent that there is opportunities for cost saving that frees up dollars that can be dedicated to additional road improvement and road work, we want to be able to see that. I mean, I certainly understand and realize that the dollars and the scope of work and which roads the road commission focuses on are prescribed by law. As a county, and frankly, as a general resident, the average resident doesn't care if it's a city road or a county road or a state road, as long as it doesn't have a hole in it that busts up my car. And so that global perspective, I think, can help inform decisions going forward.
Okay. The third one is probably the most frequent question we received, as you might imagine. If there were a consolidation, would there be road commission positions eliminated?
So I would like to start with the position. First of all, I am a big believer in creating good paying jobs, and my entire political career has, I'll put that to the test. I would argue that the road commission, I think anyone serving in a governing body wants to ensure that they're running the most efficient operation possible. If there are ways to do things different, and this is what I've heard of road commission employees worried about, this is about they're going to lose their job. At the end of the day, this is a conversation about a scarcity amount of resources, money coming to the road commission, money available through the county, and a task and obligation and priorities to, in this case, deal with infrastructure and roads. If there are efficiencies that can be attained, I think we need to be grown-ups and have honest conversations. If there's unnecessary redundancy in services that can be consolidated, let's have that conversation. My commitment, and as long as I've been chair of the board, but also frankly as I've been, a member of the Board of Commissioners for 20-some years, when we have gone through a similar process and we identify that there's opportunities to consolidate, positions might go away, people's jobs don't go away. I mean, that sometimes the phase into that is done through attrition. Sometimes that is that different positions are created and people move, and then it literally is a budget making enterprise. I want to make certain, and a priority of mine is to make certain that every available dollar to fix roads are going to roads. If there's a way to figure out a way to put more into that, it's a worthy conversation. I realize that people's livelihoods and other things and concerns and anxiety that can be created from it. And my commitment is that I look at Oakland County's track record for 20 years, well, for the last 20 years, that's all that I can actually take. I played a participatory role. but that practice, that there are not layoffs, we're not, grooming people out. There are regular conversations of restructuring things to get higher outputs, to make sure that the KPIs that are set out are achieved. So this conversation is not starting, okay, we have to get rid of 10% of the position. That is not, and I want to underscore that is not the priority. That is not what's happening. The conversation is, if there are cost savings that such a consolidation could yield, then we have a fiduciary responsibility to look at it. We have a statutory responsibility to consider it, and then we have a duly elected body that's capable of making that decision.
Yep. You've kind of addressed this one already, so it's maybe a little bit redundant, but the question is, do you believe that the Macomb County or Wayne County roads departments are operated more effectively and efficiently than the Road Commission for Oakland County?
I saw that question, and I don't have enough information to be able to make that give an answer there. What I do expect to do through this process is have a conversation with all the counties and road commissions that went through a consolidation process to learn from what their experience was. First and foremost, what are their cost savings to be able to do this? Second, have there been improvements as a result to operations, to coordination, to collaboration, and all those types of things that wasn't in place before. And so that is, to me, some of the fundamental questions that we're going to be able to ask and get answered as we go through this process.
Very good. Next question is, given that there are often limited windows of opportunity to approve road commission project contracts due to MDOT, Federal Highway Administration, and other state and federal regulatory requirements, and given that delaying approval process could be detrimental to funding opportunities, under a consolidation scenario, how much time would it take for road improvement contracts to move through the Oakland County approval process, including staff reviews, committee reviews, and ultimately board approval?
Fair question. I would argue, and I think that I would take this pandemic as a great example, the nimbleness and effectiveness and the willingness to do whatever it takes. At least as my tenure as chair, and I'm not aware of another time in which this county has missed a grant approval, any other type of report requirement, taken action. We have the ability in emergency situations, I can just mention in terms of authorizing grant applications, process for review. We have our scheduled meetings. This board has not, and I have not been shy of calling whatever necessary additional meetings. Our chairs of our committees have no hesitation to call additional meetings necessary to achieve our objectives. So of our $1 billion operation outside road work, we will meet, if necessary, multiple times a week to accomplish these things. We try to get in front of it, and the more, to the extent that we can be organized, that frees up the time to take up these emergency situations or very time crunch situations. We can call a meeting with 18 hours notice at anything. We also have a host of standing committees all together. We have been able to accomplish all the work that's necessary to support a $1 billion operation. I cannot envision in any idea that what would be different under this, with a consolidation on any approval of with state, federal agencies to get money, building in mechanisms in place to grant authority as long as those decisions are made within the parameter of that's been given by the governing body's authority to whether to a committee, which we have done in some cases. We have authorized our committees. Here are the priorities. Here are the things. These are the things you have to document and report on. And the committee is authorized to release funds for X project per these requirements. And so that to me is a governance conversation. I'm a big believer in a nimble government that works quick. And again, I would look over the last 2 years and the speed in which we can, we call our meetings necessary to meet deadlines, and systems that we put in place to be able to make that
This next question, you did address a little bit in your introductory comments, so it's a little bit redundant, but it was also one of the more frequent questions that we received, and that is, 2 of the 3 current road commissioners were appointed by the current Oakland County Board of Commissioners during your tenure as board chairman. Are you or the Board of Commissioners dissatisfied with the current Board of Road Commissioners?
Note to self, I did not submit that question.
That, lack of confidence, and this is kind of like a double negative next sentence, that has in no means whatsoever, was taken into consideration for moving forward, looking at, a consolidation of things. I, have great respect for all 3 members of the board of the road commission. I've known all for, quite some time. I believe all serve the best interest of people of Oakland County. Many also have years of public service under their belts, and so I have great respect. That is not a motivation for or a consideration of the discussion, of setting up this committee.
Very good. And the
In
next
most
question,
cases, they were appointed with broad bipartisan support. Pretty sure they're not.
the next question was a follow-up from many of these same employees submitting this question, and relates to it. And that is, please explain how you see a county board of, which will be 19 members, including a variety of committees and subcommittees, being a more efficient means of governing a county road agency than a 3-member board of road commissioners.
The county board of commissioners are directly elected by the people of Oakland County, as you described, in 19 districts. The current road commission structure is that those elected bodies then appoint someone, and then if, I guess you could say, related to through the appointment process, but separate from that. I will say that I would be surprised if there's any commissioner that doesn't get calls about roads on a regular basis. It arguably is like one of the biggest calls that county commissioners get. They already assume and think the county board of commissioners is responsible for roads. There's a lot of conversation and education every time those calls come to explain how this actually works, that we have a very nominal involvement while we do, I would argue that we probably do have a stronger partnership on road programs as compared to other counties. So how do I think it's efficient? I think from a good governance perspective, the Oakland County Board of Commissioners is directly, elected by the people, oversees, has a track record, an amazing track record of managing what's now $1 billion budget, has the capacity to be able to provide the that same level of oversight for road projects as it does for spending the $1 billion that we do to run county operations. And what wasn't clear about the question is the argument is that 3 people deciding is better than 19 people deciding?
It's faster.
It's
Yeah, the decision-making process, again, I don't want to get involved. Yeah, the decision-making process that we have changes over the winter months versus the summer months when we have a storm coming and we need to do something now. We're all available, boom, right there. That's part of our responsibility. And you're going to have to, if there is a takeover or consolidation, you're going to have to figure out how to quickly and efficiently make decisions. And it's not easy sometimes.
And there's a lot of decisions that we make on a regular basis.
Yeah, see, we deal with people's lives also. And that's our number one concern is
Madam Chair.
the saving.
I can't hear the chairman.
Well, all right, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
I think so. We have a governing structure. There are, a global pandemic hit this county, and we responded in incredible speed, faster, I would argue, than any other county government in Michigan. not just being able to pull the meeting together and have the conversation, do things, but to the commissioner's point, very important decisions had to be made. People had to be empowered to make those decisions. We made those decisions and had a reporting mechanism to make sure how to do that. So I have complete confidence in our ability because we did it. Does that mean more work and more meetings around particularly this topic? Probably. That is part of the consideration. Is there a willingness to do that? But I also am a big believer that governing bodies have a responsibility to put in talent in position to help guide, lead, run day-to-day operations of those types of things. And if you do not have confidence in those individuals, you should replace them with people you do have confidence, because that helps expedite what is the decision making that we have to do. What we're talking about is will we meet as necessary to accomplish everything? Absolutely. And never has there been a time where we haven't been able to do that. Is there, can the Board of Commissioners, grant authorization to do things to a smaller body? If in fact if it's just too many people, I believe that when we're talking about the amount of money that we're spending on an annual basis, and particularly how that impacts everything, but intersects with a lot of other county operations, as well as other local community operations. The duly elected members of the county are more than appropriate of having that conversation and are responsible, and they take that responsibility very strongly to make those decisions at a rate and time as necessary.
The next question is an example of one particular individual's situation that was submitted, but there were a number of other similar situations as sort of representative. So this road commission employee has 27 years of service and is eligible to retire in 1.5 years with an agency-provided defined benefit pension plan and an agency-funded health care plan excluding vision and dental for the rest of their life. If the county consolidates with the road commission, this employee would like to know if the county will offer existing road commission staff the same lifetime retirement health care coverage that they have been promised. What would happen to RCOC's existing promised pension plan, and does the county currently provide its employees with health care coverage for life after they retire?
Lot in that, okay, let's unpack that. Let's start with promises made to employees must be honored. And I'm a believer in that in principle. This is the most pro-labor board in county history, and that will, and as well as administration, and all promises made to workers will have to be, and will have to be honored. In Oakland County, there has been version of cost containment over a period of time. The defined benefit eligibility was closed, and defined contributions were set up with generous contributions matched by the county. That to manage our fiscal health, I will say that Oakland County, our pension is 100% funded. Our defined benefit pension is actually, I think, 105% funded. I believe our VIVA, no, you tested me, I have a pension, I'm on the pension board. I believe our VIVA, our health coverage for our retirees is funded at 125%. We have made the difficult decisions to make sure that we can guarantee the promises made are honored going forward, and done so in a very fiscally responsible way. As I think many of you know, and all of you know, Oakland County took the extraordinary step of bonding out, using our fiscal strength and bonded out to fully fund our pension system and then maintain it. And we have to pay off those bonds, and in the next 2 years, those bonds will be completely paid off. It was the right decision to do. This is not a critique. Any public agency with a pension system that hasn't done something similar to get good footing, I don't know exactly what the pension funding levels are of the road commission, but it's not where it needs to be, and it's certainly not 100%. those decisions, that's necessary to be able to honor the promises made, because if not, there will come a time in which road money will be redirected to pay those promises appropriately so, but that means less road projects. And so, so looking at all those things going forward is necessary. On the healthcare front, employees have money deposited on a bi-weekly basis or pay period basis into a retirement health savings account that allow, I understand they're assuming from the first day of employment, a new employee going forward, and that accrues over time, and when they leave, that is, it is theirs.
Yep.
Let me add one other point. So what does this look like? Promises made to all existing employees must be honored. We're going to figure out how to do that. Aligning employees, how does that look like going forward? That is questions that I think are part of the due diligence that's necessary.
Craig, just based on the fact that the chair's been talking for over 30 minutes, and some of these questions are very similar, and some have been kindly addressed already. Can we skip to number 11?
Absolutely. Number 11 is, given the challenges of finding and hiring qualified employees today, and given that some employees have already left the road commission due to the threat of a consolidation, what would you tell those employees who may currently be considering leaving and looking for the jobs?
So anyone who left because of thinking a consolidation was happening, I'm going to guess that they left for a job that pays better or something, because I don't know why you would leave. If the argument, as a board, we have a fiduciary responsibility to do our job, we have a statutory authority to be able to do our job, we are doing it in a professional way and will invest the necessary time to be able to get our information. That's good government. If that employee thinks that we should not do those things and not ask those questions and not have that deliberation, bye. I don't know what to say to that. To every employee in the road commission, you have no reason to be fearful. This is not a inquisition. This is not an investigation. This is a professional evaluation of what possibly can happen with a consolidation, and what's the economic money and economic savings of such a thing. What's the value add proposition that can be yielded as a result of it? And those are the questions that policymakers and public leaders have a responsibility to asking and looking at. And so that we're not in a reactionary point of view, that we are being proactive, we'll have that conversation and have all that information so that we're all working from the same amount of information. And then we have trust in the process that decisions will be informed based on that information. I have heard, because I spend way too much time reading conservative blogs, that this is a done deal, and this is over, and this is a sham, and this is political theater, or this is political retribution. All of that is bunk. It is not true. I will put my name, reputation, my record of 25 years of public service on the line. That's not how I roll. The decisions that we make, in this county, historically, it engendered bipartisan support, thoughtful analysis, and gathering the best research. So to those who have left, I guess I'm disappointed, because from a leadership point of view, I think that has a cascading effect that everyone is still here. To those who are here, please don't leave. I would go on a limb to say that we've got incredible employees. We want to keep incredible employees, and the work of those employees is what's necessary to make certain that we have the best road commission and relative the best county, and do what's necessary. Along those lines, I realize in this, market that people can leave, particularly public-funded entities, for more pay in the private sector space. And as a public body, and this is what we've done as a county, for too many years that we put off improving wages and benefits, that has made it harder to attract and retain. And we are allocating the resources necessary to be more attractive, to bring in the best talent necessary to run operations. And I would make an assumption that similar practices are happening here. It's something that the public sector particularly has to do, and we probably have to do. We have to make up some time because we're funded on public dollars in the Great Recession, really put a dent in what we are able to do. These organizations, Oakland County and the Road Commission, are only as great as the people that work there. So for those, again, I think it's very clear for anyone who is at a road commission and is concerned about their job or somehow their job is in danger, do not quit because of that. If you find a better opportunity and it's better for you and your family, by all means, I support people doing best for them. But this is not a predetermined decision. This is going to be a deliberative process, and we're going to do it in a way that is in line with the professionalism of Oakland County system.
The next question, you've sort of addressed this in your introductory comments too, but I think it's an interesting question. Assuming that there could be a consolidation of the road commission, would the county board instead be open to the option of expanding the current road commission board to 5 seats as is allowed in state law and has occurred in other counties, including Washington?
Yeah, I don't know if people know the history here. Every other county in Michigan is allowed up to 5 commission seats. The only one that's not is here, and a former county executive had the law changed for Oakland County only. I would love to know the story behind that. I am supportive of that. I've expressed that to other people. I think we're a county, or 900 square miles, but we're also a county of 1.3 million people. And what makes Oakland County great is that we are an incredible mix of rural, ex-urban, suburban, urban areas. And I believe the people from those communities and bringing, representative of all those communities is really necessary to help inform. Certainly, where most of the roads under the jurisdiction of the Road Commission are largely to the north and to the west and to the townships and everything like that. And to have that perspective is absolutely important. But to have the perspective of other areas, I think, collectively creates a better decision making. So I am supportive of it. I have actually been in conversations with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle of pursuing a legislative fix to at least have given us the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So that's my personal position. Our board hasn't weighed in on it. I would, at some point, I don't want to mix that with this statutory analysis that we're about to undertake. But I think it's appropriate. In general, I don't like being told that Oakland County gets less than another county. So anytime that's actually ever a situation, I will almost default to I want the same of everybody else, or at least the option.
Craig, also in light of other earlier comments and time on section 2, can we skip to number 3?
Yep, absolutely. One of your fellow county commissioners attended the February 3rd, 2022 RCOC board meeting to express dissatisfaction with the status of union negotiations and called for members of the RCOC negotiations committee to resign or be terminated. Is the effort to consolidate the road commission a means to accomplish the goal of terminating the members of the RCOC negotiating committee or in retaliation over the negotiating process?
No.
Can you understand why some employees might perceive a lack of impartiality on the part of the seating committee members overseeing the study?
Part of the study? Well, I'm the chairman. And my colleague Commissioner Politico, Commissioner Spiz, if there, regardless of any political positions or opinions that members have on my board as a whole, our commissioners have a record of being professional and making decisions. I'm the chair. I will be responsible for facilitating the conversation. I will be responsible for ensuring that the objective of this study is conducted. A report will come forward to the entire board of commissioners. So I think that it is presented, and then any action that is going to come from that will come from, will be a vote of the governing body of the county, the full board of commissioners. So I am not worried. I do believe that all of my colleagues are professional members of our board, and I have no concern about it. This is fact finding and gathering information. I have no concern about what people's views. I mean, I put my view out on the table from the start. I mean, I believe that there is value. I'm also grown up enough to say, listen, bring me the information and we'll make an analysis, and then we'll make a recommendation from there.
I think at this point, we can move to road funding.
Absolutely. So the next series of questions deals with the topic of road funding. The first one, given the long history of inadequate state road funding in Michigan, if the county were to take over, consolidate with the road commission, would the county board of commissioners increase funding for the road commission by levying a property tax millage, or by placing a roads millage on a countywide ballot, or through some other mechanism? If not, in the absence of increased funding, how would the county board propose to improve RCOC operations?
So I don't think there's any disagreement that we need more money for roads. There has been many tried efforts, failed efforts, and we find ourselves still in a situation not bringing enough resources to fund our road infrastructure. And that's not just the road commission, but that's also at the local level. Some would argue at the state level. I'm optimistic that with the bipartisan infrastructure law that President Biden signed earlier this year, that there will be, there is an injection of road monies. I am optimistic that there are opportunities to seek some of the discretionary funding that is part of that. I am committed to providing whatever leadership that I can to help achieve that. I'm not in a position to make a commitment, but as a county, if we're not able to get road money from federal dollars, we're not able to get state dollars, and the only avenue that we have available, and the state's not even willing to give us latitude to figure out how to collect additional dollars, whether that's authorizing us. The only other tool that we do have available to us is the county level right now. I don't know if that's the best way.
No, you're fine.
Oh,
Sorry.
I don't know if it's the best way. States around the country have come up with other creative ways, sales tax revenue, or address the formula and how we do that. All these things need to happen. Those are all political decisions that ultimately have to get made. I am prepared to do whatever is necessary to get our roads up to a level that is to ensure that we have safe roads, quality roads, to help not only keep Oakland County the great place it is, but to help support our local economy and be a leader in the state. So I'm open to having those conversations. What that looks like. I've yet to have, there are some people who say, well, cut everything else and just fund roads. That's get rid of the health department and fund roads. That's irresponsible and reckless. But I'm very interested in this question. I'm excited the opportunities. I realize in talking to the general manager about the how much money will come through the normal channels and formula as a result of the bipartisan infrastructure bill. directly that way. Well, that's one of the problems, because the money gets, caught up in the state, and the state will decide, like, I'm gonna put our money, our projects first, and, doesn't have to be that way. And I think that we need to be working with our stakeholders to, to figure out a way to inject more dollars. Now, we have that's a window of time, that's a 5-year window, but even when all those dollars are spent and all those roads are repaired, there is an acknowledgement that's not enough. It is the largest investment in road infrastructure since the building of the interstate system, but it's still not enough. And this gets us to, and I remember having this conversation with former Chief Deputy Jerry Poison, and we need to have an honest conversation about the cost of government. These things, if we want these things, we need to do it. It should also inform when the conversation of building new roads. And I'm not talking about fixing old roads. I'm talking about building new roads or expanding new roads. I read a piece, maybe many of you in MLive just recently, that said, so we start with the understanding and acceptance there's not enough money for roads, and yet we're going to continue to build more roads and expand existing roads, understanding there's not enough money to fix the ones we already have. So I think that there are important, difficult decisions that need to be made about how that guides decision making. I'm a policy wonk at heart, and so I welcome that type of conversation as well. Whatever the solution is, we need more road money, and regardless of what happens with the study, I will always be on the side of finding more money to build more roads. Fix and repair the roads, particularly the ones that exist.
Craig, I think we could move to the final question.
Number 4.
Yes, please.
Given the recently passed local township road improvement program, the LTRIP that the county board recently approved, does the county have a plan to continue contributing to the cost of repaving the numerous aging subdivision streets in the county?
Roads remain one of the top priority for residents in Oakland County, where I think it has been a successful program in which lots of skin in the game, the road commission money, the county money, the local respective communities. Of late, and not only do we do that, we maintain that funding, we also have a program of equal amount that we put in to help support our local road improvement program for cities that don't have the city, town, road commission jurisdiction roads. And we also led and created, piloted a program to help do even additional roads that fall within the jurisdiction of the road commission, help local communities set up an SAD to help support neighborhood roads. And we're going to learn from that. I think there is an argument for need. The question is, right now, road repairs outside the ones that are part of the campus are not a core function of county government. And so, while it's a discretionary thing that has enjoyed bipartisan support, some of the function resources. I am a supporter of the program because I will always generally default to helping do more to fix and repair existing roads. It's always like budget conversations. When those programs, Tri-Party was put in a while ago, LREP was put in with this notion of hoping that the state would find the courage to do what needs to be done to come up with road money, and then we're going to help fill a gap for a short period of time. That gap has been a very long time. So, I think we need to redouble our efforts using county general fund on a non-core function over indefinitely. I think we need that. It should be funded with road money, and it should have a dedicated revenue stream, and it shouldn't take away from the core functions that counties have to do. We're going to do it right now because roads are very important and it's a top priority. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't know if you had any closing statement, you'd like to wrap things up?
Thank you. That when I saw the questions, I realized there was only one that I could actually have said yes or no to. But to the staff, and leadership who wrote, any or some of those questions, I appreciate it. I do want to just underscore again that no employee should be afraid. No employee should say, well, this is a done deal and I am packing my bags and leaving. The Oakland County Road Commission needs you, the people of Oakland County need you, and so any suggestion to the contrary is not part of, the motivation of why we're doing this. We're going to do our thing because it's our responsibility. We have the fiduciary responsibility to do it, and we are going to do it. We're going to go through this analysis. There will be a report. There will be a public hearing around the report, and any decisions after that will come at a time appropriate, if any recommendations come as a result of that report. And so the progress of this group, information will all be up on the website so people can easily get access to that information. I hope that we will all be working on the same bit of information. Where there is dispute or disagreement about the information, we want to get it right to help inform the decisions going forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think I can speak on behalf of the board, though I'm but one of three. We appreciate you taking the time and being as open and transparent with us today as you have been. You can see the staff is very passionate about this and has concerns. We, again, speaking on behalf of the board, but really myself, I anticipate that this is going to be a transparent and an honest review of the commission, and I'm confident that the committee will come out seeing sound policy that is currently in place, fiscal restraint and responsibility, and just but I think you'll see an organization that is incredibly well-run, that has a very robust staff. I think this board is incredibly proud of the work that has been done as an independent agency for the time that we've been in place, and I guess look forward to seeing the end result and being part of the process. And again, thank you very much for coming in today. And
Thank you very much. We should do this more often.
I have liaison written down. So yes, absolutely. So thank you for coming in today.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Have a good day, sir.
Thank you again.
Yeah, I'm waiting. We're going to hear like 400 is now exiting. All right, moving on.
Where are we?
We are on item number 6. Okay, can I have a motion for the minutes of the October 6th, 2022 meeting?
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion on the minutes?
I just have a question. I
Yes,
have
ma'am.
missed it. I think we had 4 speakers. I only see 3. I mean, just something small.
Okay,
As I was reading it the other night.
all right. I guess we'll have to go back and revisit to ensure that that's the case. So pending review.
Yep.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 7, Dennis.
Status of state and local orders, despite a downward trend. Hospitalization rates, Oakland County remains at medium on the CDC community transmission level as of last week's data. About half the state is now at low, and no counties are in the high category. County's 7-day average case count has dropped from our last report and is now under 200. And we've only had 1 positive case reported in the agency so far this month. Our hope is that we will continue to see the low numbers both inside and outside the agency. The health and safety of our employees is paramount.
Thank you, Dennis. Moving on, item number 8. Can I have a motion for the disbursements of 8A and 8B?
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion on the disbursements?
I had one, it's on, 8A, 507-704, Arthur J. Gallagher, risk, 1.2 million.
Our insurance, all of our annual policies.
Okay, kind of what I thought, but,
He has a breakdown, so you get like that.
yeah, great, thank you.
Oddly enough, I have none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 9.
Recommend board approve the permits as submitted by staff.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion on the permits? This feels light. Is this light? I mean, I guess we've gone through periods where there's been incredibly hefty, and I felt really bad for your team.
Time of year it does fluctuate and weather depending.
Any other questions?
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 10.
We can do A and B. It's recommended board adopt the resolutions confirming the hearing examiner's report for Irish Drive and Test Drive.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? I think when we were talking upstairs, there was a comment made about the professionalism that is that happens at these meetings, and just wanted to thank all those involved, because I know when you're dealing with finances and personal finances, and people get anxious about things, and tensions rise. So I appreciate everybody's involvement in this and in fulfilling their duties, so thank you.
Well, one of our main players, stand up, Mark, I'm gonna embarrass you for a minute. Mark Mesler, he does a great job, and you'll see lots of compliments. It's a tough job to
Yeah.
Yep.
talk to all these folks, but he does
Yeah,
a great
thank
job.
you, thank you, Mark. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 11.
Recommend board adopt the resolution accepting the deed easement for recording.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? Is this something that we did with the wetland board? Is that, or is this just stuff that we own and we're reassigning?
Right.
Okay.
We're purchasing it, and hopefully it will help us with the mitigation.
Fair enough. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 12.
Recommend board approve the contract authorization for, this is the screening and crushing of asphalt pavement.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 13.
Recommend, board approve the agreement with the city of Farmington.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? So Farmington and Bloomfield are the only two that have full-time?
Well, this is
Not
just, city of Farmington is just Farmington Road.
Oh, it's just, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 14.
We can do A, B, and C. It's recommended board approve the winter maintenance agreements listed.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 15.
Recommended board approve the agreement for street lighting at our new Orchard Lake or mid-block roundabout. Forget the name of the street it's at the shopping center.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 16.
Recommended board approve, the fire suppression and testing repairs, giving it to Inspection Services of Ann Arbor.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 17.
17A, receive bids for a video management system. It's recommended board reject the bids, and we'll go out and bid number.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? Just want to make sure, I mean, when we go out and rebid this later, I know it's not, whatever. The CCTV cameras are used just for real time and we're still not recording, correct? Correct. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 17B,
For bids for aluminum sign blanks, our annual requirements, it's recommended the board award the bid to Vulcan Signs.
So moved.
Support.
been moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. That is true.
Sorry. Went out the bids for remove and replace a culvert on Grange Hall Road. It's recommended board award the bid to HMC of Troy.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? 17, C and D both, reference HMC of Troy. I don't recognize this company. Have we done work with them before?
Yeah, actually, they just had finished the White Lake project, the culvert,
Okay.
and, just to let you know, there was a little snag and some underground work, but they worked through it very cooperatively with us, and, did a good job.
Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 17D,
Receive bids for Roseberry Court and Gordon Road storm sewer repairs. Recommend board award it to HMC of Troy.
Support.
moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 17E,
Receive bids for guardrail posts and blocks. Our annual requirements is recommend board split bid as shown on the memo.
So moved.
Support.
been moved and supported. Any discussion?
I assume this is just pretty much a carryover contract.
I wouldn't call it carryover. We go out to bid every year for it.
I was happy to see that there was a decline in the price. It's like the first time we've seen it.
It's not very often.
No. I mean, I understand it was only like a really low cost item to start with, but I'll take the win. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 17F.
Went out for, bid for janitorial services at our PBR facility in Waterford. Recommend board award it to Ground Landscaping Janitorial Services.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 18.
We went out, for bids for our winter maintenance services, and this is where we have contractors plow the back roads and assist us when necessary in subdivision. It's recommended board awarded to Aerocraft Construction at RC Tuttle. It's listed on the memo.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion?
Now, this is a 2-year agreement on this one? Yeah. You seem to be doing a pretty good job.
Are,
Yeah, it's helped out during winter maintenance, during the heavy storms.
are these the same crews that we
Yes.
used last year? Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 19.
Recommend the board refer the litigation to the legal department.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 20. Dennis?
I have nothing.
Thank you.
I just like to thank everyone for the, celebrating the safety. Great event.
Ron, do you have anything?
No, I enjoyed the, safety banquet also. It's what we do. Our staff is the absolute best when it comes to stuff like this. And, just hope our good luck holds and we don't get anybody hurt.
I will just, also, it was a good time. It was good food. Don't eat the pickles. They are weird as hell. But no, it was a good time. And it's nice to see a room so full, a program that's, as well enjoyed as that one is. I just want to, circle back. I mean, I'm incredibly grateful, for the chairman to have come in today to talk about, the study. I will be as transparent as possible as well. I am nervous. I am cautious. I am concerned. I don't want any of the staff to feel like any of the three of us are not taking this study seriously, or we don't think that there are potential implications that could come from it that may not be what we want to see. So I hope that the staff comes away with an understanding that, you know, we support your efforts, we support this organization, with the understanding that we will work with the county to go through this process as professionally and as courteously, if that's a word, or if I just made it up, as possible. And I hope that you all do that as well. I have a strong feeling, and maybe it's hope-driven, that we will come out at the end as a better organization. There's always room for improvement, and in an outside objective review can bring to light avenues where we can advance ourselves as an organization. I believe at this point that we have done an incredible job as an independent agency, and we'll see what the study says. I believe that we have an incredible amount of strength within these walls, within the various garages, the entire team, and I think that the board has done, to the best of their ability, our due diligence in guiding the ship through some very difficult times over the last, well, Ron's had the longest tenure and has gone through some of the crappier parts, if that's the appropriate thing to say in a public meeting. So I guess thank you to the chair in advance. Thank you to the staff for your cooperation with the study and positive attitudes going forward. Nope. All right, this meeting is adjourned.